welcome to WASA Distance Education. My name is Greg Weaver, and this is ENG4E, Grade 12 Workplace English. I'd like to welcome everyone listening across the North Today at home, your learning center, or in Bell Expressview to call and join our class and call 1-800-465-7144 or 737-4017 or 2983 in the Sioux Lookout, Lac Seul, or Dryden areas. I'd like to welcome everyone back to class today. This is our second last class of the term. If you are in the radio course, you do have till next Friday. If you are taking the IL course, your deadline is this Friday unless you contact me and ask for an extension. If you are planning on graduating this year, there is no extensions, just because you don't have the time to get everything in before the for the deadline. So it's going to be important that you get your work as soon as you can. I have some marking on my desk and some students. Everyone else, please get in as soon as you can. What we're going to be looking at today, we are going to be finishing up with lesson 18, which is looking at car insurance and auto leasing, and then getting right into lesson 19. And then we'll finish up lesson 19 and finish lesson 20 tomorrow. It won't take us very long. So we're going to quickly go through this. We ended off looking at key question 50. And so what you have to do with this key question is choose two different vehicles that you would like to own. Whether it's a pickup truck, an SUV, choose two vehicles that you would like to own. And there's a list of different manufacturers there. Once you've chosen two vehicles, you're going to go to that website there, it's catnex.ca/auto insurance. This is an example of an online auto insurance broker. So you put in information and it gives you examples and gives you rates, how much it would cost in different insurance companies. So, using the information you learned about last question, complete an auto insurance quote for your two vehicles. There's 20 marks, 10 marks each. Now, when you want to go through, there's going to be little drop-down menus that you can go through. For another car is being driven, put in about 15,000 and enter your personal information. Now, if you do not own or you don't have a driver's license, because some people don't, or it's expired, it will ask you for the following dates. Ask you for dates you got your full license or your G license, as well as the day you got your G2, your level 2 license, as well as G1 or your beginner's permit. If you don't have your own license, you can use the dates that I provide in the lesson, which is April 1st, 2004, May 1st, 2002, and June 1st, 2000. Now, it's going to ask you for an email address. You do not need to put down your email address. If you do, you will get lots of spam sent to your account. If you want, you can just make up an email address. The example that I normally use is abc@abcmail.com. Or you can make up some example@gmail.com. You can just make up an email address. They don't verify it. They just need to complete a field. You can make up something. Once you've completed your quote and it's been displayed, you want to print that screen and hand in with the label Key Question 50. Now, if you do not have access to a printer, you can take a screenshot by pressing the print screen button on the top right-hand side of your keyboard. And you can email it or send it to me through Facebook. Take a screenshot. If you don't know how, you can do the following. Press the print screen button in the top right corner of the keyboard, open a new Word window, and paste the screenshot into Word, or press Control V, and then save your Word document as key question 50 and email it to your teacher. This should be 2 pages because you have 2 quotes. Most people don't have a problem with this question. The only thing, some people only do 1 instead of 2 quotes. That's the only really particular challenge that exists with this one. Next, we have a bit on automobile leasing. We'll work through this, and then we'll take a bit of a break once we get to this. So what is auto leasing and what it's not? Why is leasing popular? Well, it's become popular because it offers people the way to drive a vehicle they want, often better vehicles than they could buy for less money and less hassle. As attractive as it is, leasing is not fit for everybody's needs or lifestyle. In addition, leases can become more complicated than new car purchase loans and require a great deal more care and preparation to make sure you actually get a good deal. So what is leasing? Well, it's nothing more than a method of paying for lease of a car, or truck, SUV, or van, or a specific period of time. While it may sound good like renting, the 2 processes are very different. For example, you can rent a car for as little as a day or even a few hours, but leasing normally starts at 24 months or 2 years. And what does it mean to lease? Well, you sign a leasing contract, it means that you agree to make regular monthly payments, keep proper insurance, pay any vehicle taxes or licensing fees, and take good care of the vehicle. In addition, you agreed that you'll keep the car for a precise number of months, usually the 24, 36, or 48, and you're expected to keep the vehicle until your lease is up. So then what's better, buying or leasing? Depends on what's important to you. If you want lower monthly payments and like driving a new car every 2 or 3 years, that's always under warranty, and are willing to pay a bit more over the long run, you should lease. If you want to pay off your vehicle, be payment-free for a while, and drive your vehicle for as long as you want, but you're willing to have a higher monthly payment, then you probably look at buying it. In car leasing, there can also be various charges, fees, and taxes that surprise customers. These can differ from leasing company to leasing company and by the province. The same charge or fee may also sometimes have different names or different lease contracts. This is becoming increasingly popular now. I just saw a commercial on TV last night for a Ford F-150, where they're saying you can get a new Ford every 2 years. They're bringing back auto leasing for pickup trucks. It says the fine print is that you pay $350 a month in a lease payment, and you also have to pay a down payment of, I believe it was $2,300 up front. So it's coming back more popular. Some hidden costs of leasing, though, is the first payment. Now, a lease is different from a loan, as payments are made at the beginning of the month in which they're due, while loan payments are made at the end of the month. You may make your first lease payment in cash at the time you sign your contract. This first payment is not considered a down payment towards your lease. There's also a security deposit. It's a fee. It's about or a little more than your monthly payment. It's given back at the end of your lease minus any damage charges. You have a spotless, near spotless credit rating, you may make a security deposit. The leasing company will determine this. Making a security deposit is not the same as a down payment, which you don't get back at any release. With leasing, if there's any damage done to the car, you will have to pay a bit more. You have to pay to fix it because they'll need to then resell the vehicle itself. So it does have some shortcomings as well. But it's just what's best for you and your own personal financial situation. There's sometimes a bank fee or an acquisition fee. Now, this is an admin fee charged by a leasing company. Normally, when you get your lease, If you get a new car, you're doing it through the whatever car company you're buying it through their leasing department or finance department. So you get it through Ford financing or Chrysler financing or GM financing. Who it's normally through. It's not normally through a third-party company unless you're going to pay a really high rate. So the bank fee is normally charged by the company. It's not always stated in your contract, but included in your cap cost, which is used to calculate monthly payments. Ask about this fee if you don't see it mentioned. It's normally between $250 up to $900, depending on the value of the vehicle. High-end vehicles have a higher fees. While this bump is set, while this fee is set by a lease company, it's be more common to do it to bump this fee a little extra profit for themselves. If this fee is being bumped by the dealer, you can try to bargain it down and have it removed altogether. There's also a disposition fee that you have to pay at the end of your lease to compensate the company for trying to resell the vehicle or get rid of it. Some leasing companies also might ask for this fee if you start to purchase the vehicle at the end of the lease. You can try and remove. Normally it's between $250 and $450 is the usual fee if it's charged. When you turn in your lease at the end of your term, say it's a 2-year term, you will have the option of buying out your lease. What that means is you have the option to pay a set amount of money and actually buy the vehicle out. So depending on how much the vehicle was and how much your lease price will depend on that. Normally it's between $8,000 and $15,000. It's depending on what's the balance owing on that vehicle. Next thing is sales tax. So you make a down payment on your lease, you'll charge HST times on your lease, and that can be a lot. So say your down payment is $2,300, which is, I believe that's what the Ford down payment is on their website. So let's say it's $2,300, and you have to times that by 13%, you can pay an extra almost $300 on that lease. So that down payment of your lease, instead of being $2,300, it becomes $2,600, which is a lot of money. That's almost a 1 month's payment. And they still have to pay for documentation, registration, and license fees. And these are fees that you pay to to your government for license plates and things like that. And then you want to think, and when your lease is up, you still have fees and taxes to pay as well. These include the first one's payment, any down payment, sales tax, security deposits. Those fees is usually called the lease inception fee, or when you start your lease. Pay attention to the fact that any down payment is only a part of the lease start amount. Sometimes confuses people who think it's a down payment. And then once again, there's always sales tax and everything. Now leads into key question 51. And this says define the following terms. Be sure you be specific, use examples from the text. It's for 12 marks. Looking for auto insurance, comprehensive insurance, reimbursement coverage, premium, property damage, liability, and deductible. Number 2 is describe what a carpool credit is and what type of person would benefit from it. Number 3 is what's the benefit of having a driver training credit and when's it good to? What is auto leasing? How does it work? What's the cost and the time commitment? There's 5 marks. There's a lot of marks. You want to take your time with this one. Number 5 is why would a person want to lease a car and not buy it? So that answer is from the unit. Number 6 was your opinion. Which do you think is better, leasing or buying a car in your current situation? What are some of the hidden costs of leasing? As the last question there for 3 marks. So what I want to do, I'm give you trying to get started with these before we start with lesson 19. So we'll get started with this, and we'll come back in a bit. Any questions, feel free to ask me when we come back. I will talk to you in a bit. I can't get started with that stuff on auto leasing. We're moving now to lesson 19. Lesson 19, lesson 20 are pretty much one big lesson. I've just separated them so it breaks up some material. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at resumes and cover letters. And then in lesson 20, we'll look at interview questions that you can expect to be asked in most interviews. So what's a resume? Well, this is a selling tool that outlines your skills and experiences to an employee that they can see at a glance, how you can add to the employer's workplace. Your resume has to sell you quickly. While you may have all the requirements of a certain job, your resume is a failure if your potential employer does not immediately come to the conclusion that you have what it takes to do the job. The first obstacle your resume has to pass, whether it ends up in the consider file or the reject file, may take less than 30 seconds. The most effective resumes are focused on a specific job title and speak to the employer's stated requirements for the position. The more you know about the duties and skills, the more you can organize your resume around these points, and the more effective it'll be. You need as many types of information to write a good resume. Not just information about the jobs you've held in the past, but also information related to any accomplishments, skills, or experiences that you have for this position. The more you know about the employer and the position, the more you can shape your resume to fit the job. So that's what a resume is. What's a cover letter? Well, cover letters normally required by employers along the resume for potential employees. Also may be called a letter of introduction. I've seen that term as well lately. It's an introductory letter for your resume. Let's state, first of all, what position you're applying for, and second, a few words about your education, work experience, and skills, especially as it relates to the position that you did apply for. You can inquire about the possibility of an interview, and finally, thank the person for his or her time. A cover letter should be computer printout, except for your signature at the bottom, on 1 or 2 pages. We need with no errors, spelling, grammar, or punctuation. Some employers, and actually most employers now, require that stuff be sent online, so you don't actually physically sign it. You just type your name, and that counts as a signature. A sample resume here is one for Sally Smart. And at the very top, you have your name and your contact information. So this is for Sally Smart. During delivery, Slate Falls First Nations, PLV3CO 737-1234, and an email address if possible, sallysmart@knet.ca. What's your objective? So apply the skills I've learned in research with McDermott Lumber. What's your education? That always goes near the very top, if not the first thing. So people know exactly what your education is. Are you qualified for the job right away? So let's say an OSSD, a diploma from Washington Education in 2012. Work experience, well, for 5 years, here's your cashier at the Northern Store. And there's a little brief description of what Sally did at the Northern Store. And then for 2 years, she worked at Giant's Fresh Market. And another description as well. And after that, your work experience becomes your volunteer experience. So if you volunteered anywhere, you can put that in there. So this one, she volunteered at a grade 3 class with reading and writing at Sioux Mountain School. In terms of skills, she's fluent in no degree, excellent leadership skills, and experience with Microsoft Office. Forms are available upon request. So that's just a very basic resume. There is templates included in Microsoft Word that work pretty well to get information organized if you need it. And what's after this is how you set up a cover letter. So for your cover letter, you have your formal letter format. So you have your name, your address, and everything that. Then you have your potential employer's name, where it is, the date, and who it's going to. If you know the person's name, put it there. If not, you just go Dear Human Resources. It's typically where it goes, depending on the size of the company. So Dear Ms. Blank, start there with a grammar statement that makes a connection between your reader and a appropriate interesting quote. State what job you're applying for. The midsection letter is a chance to really sell yourself. You shouldn't start with resume, but talk about other experiences that you've had. that really make you stand out. This will help them to see whether they should either look at your resume or consider for an application or for an interview. This is where you may have at the most 30 seconds. Most people read maybe the first paragraph, maybe two, and that's it. That's all they care about. So you need to think about that as you write your cover letter. Your last paragraph should explain what you do next. For example, call the employer or probably work to contact set up an interview. Close to saying thank you, sincerely yours, and then your name. Normally, employers don't say not to contact them. They'll only contact you unless you qualify for an interview. And that's your basic resume and cover letter. There's a sample one here. So smart, date, name, and why she wants to be considered for the role of cashier. And it goes on like that. And then you have key question 52. Now this is pretty easy. It just gets you thinking about jobs. So first, is you make a list of your 5 dream jobs. What jobs would you love to have? Doesn't matter where it is, what it is. What jobs would you love to have? Just make a list of 5. It can be done in point form. Next, go online and research 2 of the dream jobs you've listed. You must find the following information. They get 5 marks each for 10 marks. Where you can go to school to become qualified, the cost of going to school, job opportunities, and basic salary and entry-level work. So, choose 2 of them, just the basic information. Make a list of 5 jobs you're currently qualified for. And will the jobs you already have experience with help you reach your dream job? Yes or no? So, think of jobs you could do right now, and think about for question 4, can those jobs help you get to where you want to be now, where you want to be for your dream job? Yes or no? And why or why not? Let's keep question 52. Pretty straightforward. You're looking at probably maybe half hour to this question. I'm not looking for a whole lot of detail when you research the 2 jobs. Just something basic, just so you know what you're looking at, how much time you're looking at spending to get to that career. And then key question 53 is a mini project. This will take you probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So your goal is to create a polished cover letter and resume. So find 5 job postings in the paper and cut them out. You look at the jobbank.gc.ca, which is a really good website. It lists jobs through the government of Canada, as well as jobs people post there. For jobs in Kenora, Dryden, Sioux Lookout, Red Lake, and Thunder Bay. There's also jobs in the paper. The Sioux Lookout Bulletin always has jobs posted in it, as well as the Thunder Bay Chronicle Journal and the Dryden Kenora Daily Mirror News have online editions. You can see they're classified what jobs people are looking for, as well as different online places as well, such as Wild Jobs, Monster. Places like those also have online jobs as well in the area. Once you've found 5 jobs you're interested in, you want to create 2 resumes to go with 2 of the jobs you found. You need a separate resume for each job. Now, normally your resume doesn't change very much. You may change the objective, but your resume will probably be pretty similar, and that's completely fine. But you have to hand in 2 copies. And then you want to create 2 cover letters to go with the 2 jobs you found. Now these cover letters should be different from each other. You want to tailor your cover letter to the job you're applying for, and look at what's listed in the job ad, what they're looking for, what qualifications or experiences or abilities, and how you can show how you fit and fulfill those requirements, or how you will fulfill them by going to school for a specific program. So that's also worth 20 marks. 10 marks for each resume, each cover letter, and then you want to print out or cut out 5 job postings for 5 marks for a total of 45 marks. And that is all we do for lesson 19. I said it's very, very short, and you really need to think about what you're. It's supposed to get you idea of what you're interested in and what you would need to do in terms of education or experiences in order to get into a job that you want to get into. When we look at lesson 20 tomorrow, we will looking at one of these jobs that you find and doing interview questions based on that. So when you come into class tomorrow, we'll actually revisit this question quickly. We'll find a job ad that's interesting, and we will look at creating interview questions, both answering ones that we typically asked, as well as coming with questions that you think you'll be asked and questions you want to ask the interview panel itself. And that's what we'll be looking at in class tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is our last day of class. We will be finishing up lesson 20, doing a quick review of all the key questions from Unit 4. Do a quick review of what's going to be on your final exam, and then that'll be it. We'll probably have a bit of a shorter class tomorrow. And then that'll be it. And if you're an IL student, your deadline is Friday, unless you contact me tomorrow. And then let you know you need maybe the weekend. I could probably arrange to give you the weekend to get things done. But other than that, there's not much room for extensions unless you're not planning graduating. If you're not planning graduating, we can look at saying up for maybe about a week or so. Depending on the circumstances. If you are in the radio course, which you have one student in Webica who's listed for the radio course, your deadline is not till next Friday because you are in the radio course. So you have till next Friday to get things done. If any questions or concerns, be sure to let me know. Other than that, thanks everyone for listening in and joining me. And I will talk to everyone again at the exact same time tomorrow. Till then, have a good night, miigwech, and bye for now.